Hello and welcome to today's video. Today is one that I'm legitimately excited about. This is another Australian pen. Comes in a very simple cardboard box like this. It did come wrapped in a nice ribbon as well. And that pen is from this maker, Just Turnings. So Stephen Just, there at Just Turnings, is a fountain pen maker, or bespoke fountain pens, ballpoints and more, from Queensland, Australia. They're beautiful pens. As you can see already on these cards, some of the work he does is absolutely lovely, made from acrylics and all that kind of stuff. Comes in this box. And then the one we're looking at today is in here. It comes in a little plastic bag. It came with a converter, which is in the pen, a little ink sample, and then here is the pen. Now, as I said, these are custom pens. They are made to order and through a range of different acrylics from different makers. This particular one is the Force Awakens material from Fountain Telling. That is Kristen over there at Carolina Pen Company. And it's a beautiful material. And when I got in touch with Stephen, I said to him, I want something that's dark, that has like blues or browns and things like that in it. And I would love a matte finish. And a fairly decent sized pen with a decent sized section and all that kind of stuff. Number 6 nib. And the brief has 100% absolutely been matched, hit, smashed, and blown out of the water. This pen is unbelievable. So I'm going to talk about the parts and features. I'm going to talk a little bit about things like a writing sample, all that kind of stuff, and then pros and cons. Okay. So top of the pen is a little simple domed, semi-domed little flat top there. The cap swells out to this center point, and then the barrel of the pen tapers away, and we get another one of those round domed ends. It is a screw cap, and it comes off in 2 turns on beautifully smooth threads. Absolutely stunning. Look like triple start threads. They're just absolutely great. And then we get this very smooth step down off the barrel there. Smooth threads section, and then that hourglass kind of section there, and it's very nice. It's a good size, it's very comfortable in the hand, and of course a number 6 Yovo steel nib. This is a black one in a medium, and then a plastic feed. All the things we would hope to see, or that at least I really hoped to see. The body of the pen unscrews. It is a standard international cartridge converter pen. And it came with a converter, and everything is beautiful about this. The threads to cap that are lovely. I suppose, seeing as though there are no metal components in the pen, I haven't tested this, but you might be able to, with a bit of silicone grease and maybe an O-ring at this point up here, maybe be able to eyedropper that if you wanted. You could talk to Stephen about the possibility of that, but it's just a beautifully made, well-crafted pen, and that matte finish is absolutely beautiful. Now, obviously, this video is not going to do it justice under these LED kind of lights, so I'll overlay some footage hopefully that captures it a little bit better, but it's a pearlescent material, and I think that's one of the reasons why this actually looks so good. Okay, you can see here when that light catches that blue in the material, you just get these little pops of that pearlescent, and because it's under a matte finish, it kind of just as I said, it just pops. It doesn't glitter or shine in the same way as it would on a gloss pen. If we look here at the BYOP, which I recently reviewed, you can see when the light hits that pearlescent material just in there, it really shines. And obviously by this pen, you can also see the beautiful gloss finishes that polished finishes that Stephen can do there. But this beautiful matte one, it's gorgeous. And those colors just sort of shine in there. Obviously, there is no clip or anything like that, no roll stop, so just be aware that your pen may roll away a little bit, but it's just such a beautiful pen. I think having a clip would actually ruin the lines of this pen. Time for a size comparison now, and I have the standard Lamy Safari. There you see it's a good size pen. This is not a small pen. It's quite a large pen, really. And then I've got the BYOP there from Just Turnings as well. This is also a fountain tellings material. Beautiful. The BYOP is designed to fit the grip section and nib from the Platinum Century 3776. There's also a range of other ones. I'll link to the review to this pen down below as well, in case you missed that. But you can see it's a smaller pen than the what I'm calling the Force Awakens after the material pen here. It is, and it's this Force Awakens is a great size. Uncapped, you can still see it's a really good size pen. It's got a good size section and a nice girth to the body as well. So the Just Turnings, as I said, what I'm calling the Force Awakens, does post, and it posts very nicely, and it posts quite long. You see there, it sort of lines up decent length with the Lamy Safari, but the balance is very good when it is posted. It is long though, and I choose to write with this unposted. I've said it in a number of videos recently, that is my preferred way of writing with most pens if I can, but with a pen like this, you really don't need to post it. So what are the dimensions of this pen from Just Turnings? Well, this is 147 millimeters when it is capped. It's 136 when it is uncapped. So for most people, this is going to be a really, really solid size in the hand. And when it's posted, it comes in around 166 millimeters. So quite a decent length pen. It does post that point where it sits on the webbing of your hand. So if that's something you are conscious of, that might be something you want to avoid. But as I said, it's a really good size without that. So the section goes from 10 to 11 millimeters by my rough sort of calculation. So it's a nice size. Even at its narrowest point, it's a good size in the hand. The pen weighs 20 grams, 16 in the body and 4 in the cap. So a 16-gram pen is a nice size in the hand. You add that extra 4 grams onto the back, and the balance doesn't shift because it's a light enough cap. But for me, it's just probably a touch on the long side, so I choose to write with this unposted. Let's do a writing sample now with the Just Turnings. As I said, I'm calling this the Force Awakened, just a Force Awakens, after the name of the material given by, this is, as I said, Fountain Tellings, I think that's correct. You'll find them. This is a steel number 6 Yovo, fill in that 6, Yovo nib, and this is a medium, and I can tell you this nib writes beautifully. Let's do some writing. Forgot to say, the ink in this today is Van Diemen's ink. A collaboration with Flywheel, which is a retailer in New Norfolk in Tasmania. Jump online, check them out. This ink is called the Rust Brick Red. Beautiful. This pen writes quite wet. It's very, very nice, and it's smooth. Reverse writing is kind of possible. And it's not a flex nib at all. It's very stiff, but that's kind of what you get with a Yovo steel nib, and it's kind of nice. Quick writing. No issues there. I've had no problem with ink starvation or anything like that. The cap seems to seal nicely. It sort of writes just about first time every time. There is the occasional little like slip, you know, particularly if you're using super smooth paper like this Clairefontaine, if there's oil on, like it's a very hot summer here in Melbourne at the moment as I'm filming this. And so like I can see places in the paper where I've already like put hand oils and things like that. So I think because the nib is so smooth, there's that sort of chance of it being, you know, not writing on some, you know, if you get oils and things on the paper. But other than that, I've never had a problem with this nib whatsoever. So what does a custom pen from Just Turnings cost? Well, that really depends on the material. There's a range of different acrylic blanks that Stephen over there uses. And like including the fountain telling here, you've got things from like the Turnt Penco, Brooks blanks, as well as, you know, things like the diamond cast ones from Mackenzie Penworks. And so you can talk to Stephen about what colors you want, what materials, and send photos back and forth and that kind of stuff to, like, you know, really work out what you're going to get. This particular one is around the $175 mark. And they range from, once again, depending on the materials, from around the 150 and up range. And so that is, you know, I think that is a very reasonable price. When you put that into American dollars, it actually becomes very competitive against a lot of other pen makers, like very competitive, including some of the more mass-produced acrylic pen makers with, you know, cartridge converter pen and a steel nib. So it's a really great price point. And also what you're getting is you're getting an artisan's work. As I said, this is custom. You can talk about specifics, you can talk about the materials, all of that kind of stuff. And you're paying for the work that goes into this. You're paying for, you know, the hours that it takes to create a pen like this, and you know, the skilled, you know, workmanship that goes into, you know, learning the craft and creating your individual writing instrument. It's, you know, obviously you're buying a pen here. It is a pen. That is what, primarily, that is why you buy it, to write with it. But you're also buying something that, you know, it's like jewelry or artwork. You know, you're buying the craftsman's design and their skills as well. And that's what I really appreciate. So what are the pros and cons? Well, the cons. Not a lot. I don't really have anything to say, to be perfectly honest. It's a great size, it's a great weight, it's a great material. The finishing is great, the tolerances are great. The only thing I kind of notice is because that particular nib is so smooth, it's not necessarily a baby bottom issue, because I don't have the problem on a lot of paper and things like that. It's when there's a bit of oil on the page, and that's going to be the same with a lot of pens and a lot of nibs. If you get hand oils on the page or something like that, it's going to like just skip a tiny little bit. But other than that, it writes beautifully. You saw in the writing example, it's generous, it's got good flow, all of that kind of stuff. So what are the pros? Well, the material, obviously. This material is absolutely stunning. Once again, I'll try and overlay a photo right now to show you this material again. Just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And also, like in the gloss finish, this material really shines. I love this matte finish though. It's what I wanted. I've got a number of acrylic pens and most of them are in the gloss kind of finish. And I'd seen some matte ones. Actually, I saw one from Just Turnings. I thought, okay, that's what I'm after. And that's amazing. I really love this section. So starting at that around that just over 11 millimeters and sort of tapering and then flaring again in that hourglass shape, it gives it a really comfortable feel in the hand. You can't slip down it. You're not going to move far back. Even though these threads are relatively smooth, you're not going to end up on them because it's a nice size section. It's a nice width. And that number 6 size nib. The fact it is a Yovo number 6 size nib means that they are interchangeable. You can either get a housing or you can just replace the nib if you desire. There are a number of people that sell different Yovo nibs with different, you know, grinds, and you can actually get them ground specifically. Or you can get a nib and Yovo nib and housing with the plastic feed and all of that kind of stuff. Unscrew this one and put that in. So you might actually have other pens with Yovo nibs and you go, oh, actually, you know what? That's what I want. And you put it in. It's one of those sort of universal things that makes these kinds of pens so great. And then the last thing I really love about this pen just is the size. It's just a little bigger than a standard fountain pen. Like for me, I take sort of like that Lamy Safari length as a standard pen. It's around the 140 millimeter mark. And so this is just a little bit longer than the Lamy Safari, and it gives it a nice size in the hand. As I said, writing with this unposted is so well balanced. It's so comfortable. It's light. It's got a good sort of, good girth. And because that sort of a matte finish is so smooth, it's almost like a satiny kind of feel. It's very, very nice. So this was the Just Turnings fountain pen. And so I'm calling this the Force Awakens because this is what that material is from Fountain Telling. That's my own nickname for the pen. It's not the pen given by Stephen over there, just what I'm calling it. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting. Please get in touch if there's ways you'd like to support the channel. Support your local pen makers. I will link to Just Turnings below, to their Facebook and their Instagram, so you can get in touch, because they are a company or a manufacturer, a maker, an artist worth supporting here in Australia from anywhere in the world. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.